computer. Hey, assalamu alaikum. This is our weekly Fitra videos series. We're gonna start, inshallah, with my brother Muhammad. So this is gonna be I don't even know, brother Muhammad. We're gonna call them. We're gonna call the Fitra series, right? Helping a Muslim entrepreneur from purpose and passion, and eventually to get to prosperity. In a nutshell, what we're gonna do, inshallah, in this challenge, we're gonna work with brother Muhammad and helping him from where he is today, helping him to discover his purpose, not only in general, but his purpose in life, and also follow his passion, discover his passion, follow his passion, and turn that purpose and passion into, inshallah, either into a profession, the things he wants to work for as an employee, or maybe he wants to launch his product or service, And this is something we're gonna go through as a challenge, a weekly challenge in 2022. So every week of the month, we're gonna show up here and we will exchange ideas, we will share, and we'll be sharing our progress. And this way, this will be also my way of sharing, inshallah, my experience with the Muslim entrepreneurs around the world. Having said that, let me welcome Brother Muhammad for the challenge, and let me ask him to introduce himself. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad. Welcome to the challenge.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Maruf. Jazakallah khairan again for this whole idea. MashaAllah, I'm really excited to know, to see the transformation from zero to hero. That's essentially what I'm looking for. And from my side, I've always been inspired by communication, love communication, public speaking, just the idea of presenting an idea in the right way. So I've always found that if you present the right message to the right person in the right way and at the right time, you can leave meaningful impact. So my goal and my ultimate purpose for now, when we uncover, but at this stage, is just simply helping Muslims equip themselves with the right skill set, the tools, so that, public speaking is number one or number two top fears, trying to not to let the fear of public speaking or communication override the possibilities of prosperity, and with the good outweighs the fear. So essentially, it's just using communication, and alhamdulillah.
Sounds good. Alhamdulillah, sounds good. So when we do this challenge, there's one of the things I like to do is working based on a framework, based on a path, right? So if you study business courses at universities, they usually teach there are 5 P's of every business. They say product, promotion, purchase, promise delivery, and the finance, marketing, and all the stuff. Like 5 core pieces every business. So we are so what I did is I just built upon that. I extended. I put 2 more P's before that, because some of us tend to look at life, okay, business is different, life is different. To me it's the same thing. You are in life, you're in it all. Your business, your life is all about the same. So instead of looking your life, your personal life and your business life differently, my approach has been to look at them together, holistically. So having said that, we're going to be working on the 7 P's. Maybe next one we're going to put a better, let's see if I can share my screen and show you what these are. So we're working on based on the 7 P's, Brother Muhammad. So one of them, so the first one is the purpose, right? We'll sit down and we discuss with you what's the purpose of life and what's the purpose of your life, and other things. And the reason is that and starting with why, I think, is the right thing. Not with the what, not with the how, because once you discover your why, I believe the how and what becomes bearable. What I mean by that is no matter what you want to do in life, if you want to be really good at that, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of resources, right? If you don't know your why, your core why, clear purpose, most of the people, they give up, right? And we don't want to do that mistake. That's why we want to start with the why. So then later on, we choose the path. Once you know your why, there is a path. Either you want to be an entrepreneur, like you could create that product or service, right? You envision, or maybe there are already other people or companies that created that product, are creating that product, and you want to join their forces. It's not right or wrong. You just have to choose the one path, right? Because each one requires a different outcome. So then this path, assuming we're choosing entrepreneur, the next step is the product, right? This is the one thing for every business. Every business need to have a product or service to offer to the people, right? And that's the one we're gonna go and figure out what's your product and what is the product market fit and how do we know it's the right product. We discuss all those ideas, inshallah, and we will figure out to to launch something for you, inshallah. And then the promotion, another ways is the marketing. And how do we go out and tell people that we launched the product, right? It's crucial. And then comes the sales, we call purchase. So someone, you offer the product and someone's gonna buy. And to do that, there are things taken into place. It should be available to buy. Sometimes it should be convince someone, right? Or market it to someone. And the next one is the promise delivery. Whenever you sell someone, they have an idea what you want to get, right? They're gonna get that the promise, and then they have to meet that promise, right? Otherwise, they will give back to you, refund it, or they may go ahead and tell the people, "Hey, I bought this product. It's not good. I don't like it." So if you can take care of all of this, then only then we get to inshallah a place prosperity. It's called finance, right? So finance is like what I mean is prosperity is as a the finance with a blessing. So you make money that's enough for you, and hopefully, inshallah, you make more than what you need so you can give and help other people. Does it make sense? So that's our goal. So I'm not of those people who only talks about money. You know, some people may, oh, we're gonna talk this much. No, but at the same time, I'm not also not that kind of people that forgets about money. Say, oh, don't worry about the money, just forget about the akhir. No, we have to have the imbalance, right? As a Muslim, we have to, as even the dua, we ask our Lord, give us the best in this world and the next. So, as you know, money is a currency. Money is a amplifier. Money is a resource. It will help you support your family, and you need money. And there's no shame in talking about it, as long as it's in our head, not in our heart. And I think that's the right approach, right? We just want to keep the balance in that. And that's why the money comes, the profit and profit comes in the end. We do our homework, we give the value. If you do the right thing, inshallah, and in the end will be good as well. Is that clear?
Makes sense, mashallah. If I may I make one quick comment about the
Sure.
very beginning of purpose.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
subhanallah, one of the common rhetoric is like start with why, and
Yep.
it's true. Like, and I'm a firm believer of that too. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're just going to end up being a hamster in a wheel, spinning your wheels, and you just don't know what. What I found though, which was interesting, and I'm leaning towards this in a way at this point, is it sounds pretty convincing, is that, start with who instead.
Okay.
Because if you don't know who you are, where you fit in the grand scheme of things, even if you know why you're doing what you're doing, if you don't identify yourself or be crystal clear on who you are, then it will also be, you're stuck in a rut. So, there's no right or wrong, I find, approaches. People would say, if you say start with what, or with why, or with who. But one thing I found particularly interesting that isn't maybe talked about enough is, like, where do you fit? If you're in the grand scheme of, where Marshall talking about purpose, I'm just priming myself to think about this, is that if you have the grand scheme of things, what's the purpose of life in general? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this in the Quran, and we have some, you know, uh, something laid out for us. But if
Yep.
we don't see how we fit into that, or who we are in that grand scheme of things,
100%.
then that might be a problem. But what's your
100%.
take on
I
that?
agree with you. That's why, as you saw that on the purpose, one of the session is purpose of life in general.
Mhm.
Then right after that comes purpose of Muhammad's life. How does the
Yeah,
Muhammad fit in this thing? Absolutely. Otherwise, you feel like disconnected, right? Okay, that's the big thing, but what am I doing here? What role am I gonna play, right? Um, I agree with you 100%. Even we're discussing why, and you will see, we'll come back to you. The why for you, right? Having said that, let's start with a discussion instead of me just lecturing you. Let's
yeah,
start with like a dialogue. So, mashallah, you are a Muslim, as I know you are a good brother, Muslim good brother. So for maybe we don't know who's watching this, right? Maybe Muslim, non-Muslim, we don't
yeah.
know. So let's try to simplify, right? As a Muslim, what do we believe as Muslims? We believe this is it's not a new religion, right? We believe this is the same religion from Adam, peace be upon him, until the last prophet. We believe Prophet Muhammad, and the same thing. It's coming. That there is a source that sending these messengers to us and saying, guys, this what you are in is a simulation, big test, whatever you call it, and watch out what you do. Be be watchful what you do. And we have created you. Allah always speaks it in plurality, right? And God is saying, hey, we put you on a purpose here. We are watching you guys, and which of you is better in action, right? Not in thoughts, not in intentions and words, but actions. Which of you performed actions? And we also created you, that Allah says in the Quran, you mentioned, right? Create actually specifically the jinn, and we know there's an entity called hidden. We don't know much about them, and also mankind to worship him, right? That's what we know. Um, so the question is, like, before I just share my opinion,
Yeah.
like, how do you see this thing? Like, I mean, maybe you have other things you can relate to as a purpose of life in general as a Muslim from your experience. What are your thoughts on that one?
MashaAllah. Like, that's the thing. Like, the sometimes people treat life as just one big party. They don't think of any responsibility. They just want to live it up. And that's what Shaytan, and for Shaytan, for those who don't know, Shaytan is like this, the jinn, which is made out of smokeless fire,
Is it?
defied
Yeah.
defied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order. So if you want to go with the origin story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created our father Adam, all right, and all the angels prostrated, like out of respect, to be clear, not out of worship, just out of respect. Among that gathering was Shaitan, and he openly said, no, I'm not going to do it. Why not? Because I'm better than Adam. All right, get out of here. And whoever follows you will be doomed as well. So now we can always, there's all this philosophy of, there's all these, or like, what do we do? Why are we here? Is God fair? Is this okay? It is what it is. We're just thrown into this. All right, that's all we
If you
are.
want
Like
or
we're just,
not, we are here right now. We are
well,
talking. We just
yeah,
figure out.
yeah. We can't go back in time and just try to have this conversation. Like, no, we're just, now we're thrown into this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this setup. Look, you follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to be golden. You follow the messenger of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the messenger of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you're going to be golden, inshallah. And if you follow Iblis, if you follow Shaitan, you're going to be unfortunately doomed. And so now the choice is ours, here or here, which one, right? But I didn't ask for this, I didn't sign up for this. What's the whole
I am
idea?
here.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
here.
So I
Yeah,
find like,
absolutely. So it it reminds me when we began to like a popular culture and current times like right now, we had 2022. Recently, they released I think the fourth sequel of Matrix, right? The fourth movie
yeah,
of
yeah,
Matrix you've seen. But the movie originally came like 18 years ago, as you know. And one of these scenes is like the Morpheus shows this two pills to Neo,
yeah,
the blue pill and the red pill. The blue pill is Neo is like, you take it, you forget everything, you go back to everything's normal. But the red pill is the truth and only truth. It will open your eyes, and this does. So, what I'm trying to say is that, as I agree with you, we are thrown into here. We just have to figure out. So, I just want to be clear with everybody, right? Like, what as Muslims we're doing is like everybody else, we look at the world and say, okay, this is what it is, based on what we see, that nothing is created out of nothing. There must be some creator out there. And we believe that creator to be the God and only God. We call it Allah. It means the God, actually, right? That's a translation. It's nothing, someone, not a different entity. So there is one creator out there who's not bound in time and place and space, right? Created all of things that caused the universe to be. And we are here because of that creator, and we are here being tested. And now you mentioned the original story, so that's our justification. Like everybody says, how do you know? We don't know. We're just like you. We just believe this is the most how to say, this is the thing that makes sense the most to me, at least, right? I think it also makes sense to you. That's why we subscribe to this thought and say, okay, this is makes, I believe this is to be. Do we know for sure? No. If people say, show me the proof, we don't know. All we can say, look at the things and make, assumption, right? That's what we're doing. And this is, we believe this is the best thing out there. Like for me, we are here out of chance. To me, it doesn't make sense because as I tell my origin, like when I look, it doesn't make sense. So I believe there is a creator who created for a purpose, and Islam is the religion that's being upgraded during. So this is the latest update. That's all that is. And if you look at all Abrahamic religions, it's the same thing. So now coming back to the original story, um, an interesting point as you mentioned is that if you go back a couple of verses before in Baqarah, I think 30 or 31, if you remember, I remember when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm going to create a Khalifa, right, on earth,
Yeah.
representative on earth. And so this is a little bit earlier, that story as you mentioned before the angels prostrate. If you remember, um, this is the verse I keep coming back because this is the origin of story. We have to know the origin, right? The what's and that point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he says that I'm going to create the representative on earth, right? And if you remember, angels ask, why would you create someone that create bloodshed and all these things? I'm just rephrasing. You can read
Yeah.
from the exact. On earth, while we glorify your name, right? Even the angels are asking this question. Imagine angels usually just do it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something very interesting. I know what you guys are revealing and what you're concealing, right? That's the
Yeah.
answer. So, like my understanding is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say it's not the whole story, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the whole story. It's not the whole story. Is just humankind is going to create bloodshed in this. Even though some people might want to look at his, oh, look at humanity's bloodshed. Is it the whole story? It's not. So, what the angels are missing is that yes, there are some bad guys, right? Who are going to do bloodshed, who are going to do wars, but it's not the whole story. So, what is the whole story? The whole story is they're also good people, right? And the people also who do progress and move to like push the humankind forward with the technologies. When things now look, we are where we're now. Why we are like we are talking to each other on a technology. Alhamdulillah, with the help of Allah, inshaAllah, we have created. That's amazing for me. When I look at the human trajectory over the history, I say, "Wow, Subhanallah." You know, we have done so many things. We are talking with the people, like so many different way and technologies. That's what amazes me. I want to see, look at that part. I'm not ignoring the other part, but also I want to be. All those ones are saying, don't conceal the other part. Then another thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that moment, if you remember, just to make my point clear, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach Adam alayhi salam the name of things. It's in the Quran, right? It's for me, it's all symbolism. At that moment, all symbolism. Question: angels are asking, why are you creating this creature who's not perfect? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that's not the whole story. Hold on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches Adam the name of things and asks angels. Adam tell them. And Adam salam tells them. And asks angels, do you know them? So, no, we don't know. We only know what you tell us now. So the symbolism of on this point, one of the things is that the ability of Adam alayhi salam in regards even humanity, us all, is the ability to learn, right? Is ability to use that knowledge. Do you understand? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pinpointing. There is something there, what you guys are not mentioning, right? And there's something there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that point, to some, if you also remember, there's this point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathed out of his spirit into Adam alayhi salam a little bit. Remember? There's this point. So imagine, so there's this creature, right? Adam alayhi salam, created out of clay, right? But it's not, when you look at this thing, you just don't look at a pen. But this pen might write something. They may change the course of a person's life. Sorry, you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
It's not about just a pen. So it depends what you're gonna do with it. So what Allah is saying, yeah, when you look at this, it's the clay, but I'm gonna give him knowledge. I'm breathe my soul out of my spirit in it, my ruh in it. If that creature is gonna purify his ruh, use that knowledge, that status is gonna be higher than you angels. Why the angels are prostrating to Adam alayhi salam? As you said, it's not just to pray, it's not to worship Adam alayhi salam, to show their respect. That acknowledging that creature, Adam alayhi salam, is in a higher status than them. Do we agree on this? If you remember
Right.
the similar story and the Yusuf alayhi salam story, he says, I saw a dream, in my dream, 12 moons are prostrating to me. This
Yeah.
happens later on in Egypt. So this is symbolism. The symbolism is that I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing that there is a potential in humanity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says many times in the Quran, whoever purifies their soul, they are the successful. Because the ruh is a part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It wants to go back, but our job is to purify that, right? To keep it clean. And how we do that in Islam, there's an explanation. But also we have to give it akal, intellect, right? To use the intellect combination with the qalb and emotions, the combination with the ruh. And if we do all of things together, we have a potential to be higher status than angels. And that is a symbolism and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows in the Quran, right? And that doesn't make sense. So why am I telling you the story on a lengthy notice? To understand the humanity story. So the question comes back to now, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I mean, do you remember then the Satan, right? He was arrogant. So, I'm better than this, I'm better than fire. Yeah, but this is from just a clay. He looked at the things, just the matter thing, right? But as the meta matter or metaphysics, it's not just there. Whatever the reason is, either the Satan did know, I don't know that, but whatever reason, there was arrogance there, right? Allah says, no, you just obey my rule, otherwise you're an outcast, right? So the whole enmity starts there, right? There's this big challenge. What the Satan is saying, let me prove with you, they're all gonna do bad things. So Allah says, okay, go ahead and do whatever you want. But remember, those who remember me, those who follow my guidance, you have nothing on them, right? It's on the Quran. So it's like, remember, we're in a big challenge game. Like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
that challenge, like between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is challenging. Whatever, I mean, it's not challenging. It's like, I think it's the Satan seems to challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, do whatever you want. But this is it. So what I'm saying is that, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know there will be bloodshed? Even the angels know. Yes, of course. But why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create the humanity anyway? Think about that. If it were up to angels, we would not be here right now. Trust me. You and me, no. The angels are perfect, man. I mean, we cannot compete with the angels. How can we? They just execute the orders. We believe in them, we respect them, but we are no match in them. Like it comes to like perfection, right? Do we agree on this? However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us anyway. We are here. We believe so. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, there will be some among human beings that that purify their souls. That will be some human just comes my guidance comes. They believe in the guidance, even though it's hard. They do things against all the odds, right? And they are the ones. I don't know what to say, man. They are the ones Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala believed in the humanity. Maybe not all of them, and some of them said they are still worth creating. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Even against all, and we are here. I believe is, I don't know what to say. We are based on that thing. We are still here. I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. I will not use the word bad, but His trust. Let's say His trust in humanity. That's why we are here. And Shaytan challenge, I'm gonna stray. Yeah, go do whatever you want. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His knowledge and wisdom, we believe He knows past, present, future. He knew everything along, but still, it was worth creating humanity. And imagine right now there's a huge galactic war going on, right? Satan is throwing his things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send the messages, and people who do whatever. So people are choosing their own thing. So the question we should ask, Muhammad asked, and Marf asked, is that, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win this war? And we know, from one thing we know for Allah, for sure, Allah knows everything. He's all aware. He's the all wise. Absolutely. Whatever He says is going to come true. We believe in this, right? Whoever purifies the soul, they will get success. We also know that. And the question for us is, it's not about what He promised is going to come true. The question is, where will we be, right?
Yeah.
Where the Muhammad is going to end up? Where is the Maruf going to end up? That's what our concern is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Often, mashallah, Jazakallah khair, brother Maruf, mashallah, lots of things to digest here, because oftentimes, nowadays, or it's human nature, right? Conflict is always a point of interest, right? You have two team sports, team A versus team B, or you have two stuff like, two opposing parties. Just there's always that conflict. So at the big, grand, like we're talking the highest level of conflict ever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala versus Iblis. But at the end of the day, whose side do you want to be on? I think that's the ultimate question, right?
Exactly.
Iblis has no power at all. Even in the Quran, there's a spoiler alert. That's the thing. Iblis will say the people who followed Iblis, who chose to follow his footsteps, he's going to say, look, I just whispered. I had no power over
Yep.
you. You decided to listen to me. It's on you. You have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
So
Even Allah
subhanAllah.
subhanahu wa ta'ala, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't force us. Forget about Iblis, right? If you want, he would have forced us. He doesn't. He said, I'm going to give you free will. You choose whatever you want. So Iblis says no power on us. Like he doesn't force us to do. He can whisper. He can suggest. It's up to us what we do
The question
actually.
is that that's the other thing as well, subhanAllah, when it comes let's just say someone completely, well, you hear this commonly as well, where people, they say, why do I need to accept this? Why can't all religions, or if I'm a good person, I give charity, I feed the poor, I do all this stuff, why do I have to be Muslim, or why do I have to accept this deen in order to be taken to heaven? Why aren't the doors open for everyone? If this God you claim is so loving and so merciful, it doesn't matter, why do I have to subscribe to this? And oftentimes, subhanAllah, at the end of the day, you ask yourself the same, like, I mean, think of it this way, right? Like, where, imagine you're in a class, okay? You're in a one class and everyone is taking the same test. And let's just say people, they studied for different things at the end of the day. Is it fair you just pass everybody? If you're asking the wrong, like you're in the wrong room, right? Like the wrong place, the wrong stuff. Unfortunately, there are elements to it you can respect, but at the end of the day, holistically, is it fair, right? Like at the end of the day, that you can say, subhanAllah, what's all encompassing. But even then, sometimes this is a point of contention. You're gonna always, I found, at least one thing I've found so far in my life is that don't try to convince anyone of everything.
No, of
They'll
course
come
not.
to that finish line on their own conclusion. You've seen people who were atheists, no, there's no God at all, no God, no existence, and 30 years later explored all the religions, and suddenly Islam is the last thing, and then they discovered that, oh, okay, all my answers are quit. So they come to that finish line 30 years earlier. I guess all we're humbly saying is that, look, this is the finish line. We can tell you all we want, we can try to persuade you all we want. At the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds the keys to our heart, and we don't have access to it. So you just have to come to it on your own conclusion. You have a question, there's always an answer. So if someone asks, like, what makes you Muslim? Why are you so committed to this faith? Why can't you just simply say, do good to others, and that's my philosophy in life? Why do I have to pray 5 times? Why do I have to believe in this? Why is there a heaven and a hell? Why do I need to do all this? Why
You
am
don't
I?
need to. Like no one needs to do anything. Like what I'm saying is, there's no compulsion religion, man. You can believe whatever you want to. Anybody can believe whatever you want. That's the free will. That's the only thing probably you have in this world. But here's the
Yeah.
thing, like the it comes from the notion that they think there are a couple of a few organized religions. They think, why do I have to subscribe to this? Instead of figure out my own, you can just take the risk as well. You know what I mean? Because what I'm saying is that, look, at the end of the day, as a human being, we know we are, our perception defines our reality. Everybody, whoever watching this, you, Muhammad, I am, Maruf, anybody else, my son, my daughter, my friends, everybody, they have their perception and thoughts about the world. And that thoughts and reality shapes their existence, whatever they do, what they do. And that, my friend, you called or not, it's a set of beliefs. I wouldn't call it religion, but it's a beliefs. Everybody had a beliefs, okay? At the end of the day. There's another person, also, I don't believe in anything. Even that is a belief. That you don't believe in anything is your belief. It doesn't matter. So, like, I think every person for their, I mean, for the sake of their life, they have to do is that look around, look around, discover what are the set of beliefs. Call them religion, whatever you want to. And there are things that are ways to it. choose the what best makes sense to you. That's all I say. I'm not saying choose Islam. For me, it makes sense. For Muhammad, it may make sense. But for you, if believing in nothing makes sense, okay. What can I say? Just go for that. Just do whatever you want. My job is not to convince anybody. To be honest, my job is to try to barely hold on to what I believe and do what I do. And everybody should think for themselves. It's not someone like swoosh and you have to convert to Islam, or swish you come to Christianity. No, it's like instead like do your own research. That's what I say. Do your own research and choose what works. I mean, this is, that's all I can say. I mean, what else can, so it's not here to, but I mean, let's come back to our topic. Our job is not to preach anybody. Our job is, why we're discussing is that, Brother Muhammad, with you now. So we are going back to the purpose, right? Even with the Quran, you mentioned, those ones are created in the Quran. So, like we have, it says, I will not create jinn minka except to worship me. So that the word, the worship in English is like a very limited meaning, but if you go to Arabic, it's ibadah, right? The ibadah and abd has multiple meanings. And for example, in Arabic, abd also means a servant, right? Serving, not only like doing worship, like serving. So like if you expand the meaning of that, because some people, I mean, I used to be honest, when I was smaller, I didn't understand it. When I reading in my own language, I didn't, it just meant like, okay, my purpose is only just to pray. It doesn't make sense, right? There must be more to it. But when I begin to understand Arabic, when I listen to other scholars of Islam, they explain it. Look, anything you do in Islam could be an act of worship and an act of ibadah and service. How? As long as that thing is done according to the guidelines. Huh? What as Allah SWT said, there's even a hadith, if you remember from Prophet Salam, even an intercourse with your wife could be an act of ibadah, even for your personal gain. Why? Because you're not doing it the non-halal way. You're not going and doing fornication. You are doing with your own wife in like hell. You don't understand? Can you imagine? It just blows you like, wow. Yes, at the end of the day, it looks, as long as in the is what we call hudud, right? The boundaries of what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala said. These are the things good. These are things bad. You just do the good things with intention, and that's a type of ibadah, type of service. So I would interpret this. I would reinterpret this the first, except to serve God, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, right? Not just doing the praying 24/7, but to serve. Do you understand? So the next question for me was that, like Allah Subhanahu wa Taala doesn't need anything, right? Angels are serving you. Why do I need to serve Him? And that serving is not for Him; it's for you, and which is a paradox. Does it make sense? Which is a
Right.
paradox. Like the Allah Subhanahu wa Taala created us with a free will, but to submit to Him, like that's the meaning of Islam as well, right? To submit to Him without a free will, so we become free. It doesn't make sense to me, but once you do, you understand. Like once you acknowledge there is a creator, all-knowing, and I'm gonna submit to His will. What I mean is that, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna humble myself. I'm gonna submit to His will. I will do my things. I have some free will, but based on the things that are good for me. I trust Him. I do that, and that's when you feel I think the most free. Does it make sense?
Yeah, mashallah. I heard it been put like this, is that when you enslave yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you free yourself from everything else.
Yeah,
We're all slaves to something, one or another.
exactly.
It's just what do you choose to be enslaved to, right? You're
Absolutely.
enslaved to
Either the
money,
ego or your desires
or
or to higher.
societies, your culture. You're enslaved to something or someone. The question is who and
Exactly.
or what, right? So that's the
Exactly.
key.
Exactly. So that was the topic of the first conversation with you, to go back to the history based on the common beliefs we have and discuss what is the main purpose of humanity. Do you think we got an answer for that today?
Alhamdulillah, like that's the standard blanket answer. You found it in the Quran, you mentioned it, right? Just
Yeah.
that you worship and plus serve, or if you expand that meaning, right? It's like
Yep.
at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. Why did He create us? So that we can serve Him. Why do we need to serve Him? Paradoxically, you mentioned it's for our own benefit. Why? I didn't sign up for this. I don't have a contract. What did I? Okay. At the end of the day, you have a gift of life. At the very least, make the most of it, man. And at the end, if there's a promise of much better, bigger things to come in Jannah, inshallah, wouldn't you say this is a deal worthwhile? If you weren't existent, like you were nothing, like just not existent at all, right? What kind of a life is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose you, whoever is watching this, like you, me, everyone, whoever what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to be born, to exist, regardless of whatever hand you've been dealt with. You have this opportunity of a lifetime, like
Absolutely.
literally a
I
lifetime,
mean,
right?
here's the
Yeah.
thing, like once you understand this reality, like in the red pill, once you understand that
Yeah.
we are here by his will and he created us, at the same time, if you just follow what he said, I mean, what do we all want at the end of the life? We want to live a happy, joyful life, right? And to do that, if you serve him, it doesn't matter where we are. Trust me, what I mean is that some people say, "Oh, I am poor." This no, like what I mean is, as I told you my story. I don't know if I told you that I come from Central Asian country. Uh, I come from a very poor family. We didn't have things. Sometimes didn't have things to eat, right? So it's the being poor. Yes, you will not have resources, but once you understand, no matter where you are, once you understand this life is a test. Our test is different. It changes. Sometimes it's the resource, sometimes it's the money. But once you understand this, and the things begin to shift, your resources doesn't matter anymore. You will not begin complain, oh, I have this. No, it's for a reason. That's your test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that's your test. For some people it's the wealth, for some people it's the fame, for some people it's something else, right? So then you
Oh,
understand, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most just. If you think that's my test, I'm gonna be with a beautiful patience, like the Yaqub alayhi salam said, right? I'm going with a beautiful patience. I'm gonna move forward, and inshallah all the good things will come to me. So but having said that, we're coming back to purpose. If we serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best possible way, in the next section we're going to discuss. The question is, okay, how am I going to serve? What exactly my role, as you mentioned? And it's
right.
exactly, inshallah, we're going to discuss in the next week's call. It's not just the theories, but inshallah, we'll try to put in a diagram, like try to figure out if that is possible. That actually answer lies in the things you already do, that we're going to look back to things what Muhammad is good at, what Muhammad likes, and we're going to connect to the dots and how to make it some meaningful service, which makes sense, which connects all the dots. It's actually, we're going to use the Japanese term, it's called ikigai, right? Right, it means the reason for being, right? People
Okay.
thought about this. So this is what we're going to do. So today's call, to sum up what we discussed, is the purpose of life based on the common belief we have as Muslims with Brother Muhammad, going back to Quran and say, okay, our purpose is to serve, right? To serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by serving humanity, by serving the creatures, other creatures, by serving our planet, whatever it is out there. We serve Allah by serving them, because Allah doesn't need service, right? We serve by serving them, and by that we serve our purpose. You know what I mean? We become
Right.
helpful. We serve our purpose, and if we do that, and that's the thing, we can elevate ourselves, coming closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dua that He guides us to be one of those servants, inshallah. By that, we're going to conclude today's meeting, and I will see you, Brother Muhammad, next Friday at 11 a.m.
Mhm. Sounds good, brother Maruf. Jazakallah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.